Okay, so for this month I decided to do Pokemon Shield again, but as a single type challenge, which for it I needed to go and choose Grookey because I wanted Hop to have Sobel because I decided on electric types as it, and there's plenty of electric types in the game. First one that you really run into is Yamper, right in front of Route 2, in front of the professor's house. So Yamper was the first one on the list, and Yamper is just a pure electric type. So I'm also going for not just electric, but obviously it has to have other components to other types with it in order for it to really go and work. And then I remembered that Grubbin actually evolves into an electric type, which I completely spaced on when I was on Route 1, so I went back to Route 1 to go and get a Grubbin because it evolves into an electric type and becomes a bug electric type instead of just starting out as a bug. So again, I went with technically the theme of electric types, and then went to the wild area to go and become the hyperbolic time chamber that it pretty much is, and really is a nice resource inside of the game to go and use. And from there I was able to evolve Yamper first, since I've already had Yamper for a little while. So we'll evolve Yamper into Boltund, and that became kind of one of the main two on my team, with it being pure electric type that I went to go and use. The other one being the Grubbin evolution, but I decided to do the link trades and the surprise trades with the Grookey, and eventually got a Toxel from it, which I thought was kind of a nice pickup there, even though you technically get one later in the game. But the Toxel is a nice type of the poison electricity. Grubbin eventually evolved into Charjabug, so there's that electric type part that I was talking about, and that's kind of how the game started and was for a bit. Just having those three. Definitely went to start battles. As you can see, I was 25 versus a Zigzagoon as I left. Went to just tackle, and yeah, that happened. So went and continued on, and outside of Turffield, caught an Electrike, which was another just electric type. So now I had both Boltund and Electrike on the team, but I'm still trying to go and, at this point, put the team together, figure out the components of it, figure out what I want to kind of do. I know that there's electric types, and I use all of that to go and beat Milo in the first gym, which was kind of a cakewalk at this point, and not difficult. And then obviously as electric types, beating Nessa next wasn't difficult at all, being the water type. So getting grass and water right out of the way led up to Toxel evolving into Toxtricity, which I used pretty much in every kind of playthrough I've done of the game so far, because its poison electric combination is very unique and got some pretty good moves with it. So it definitely became one of the staples of the team. From there, it was a bit of trying to go and figure out what to do. I had to definitely level up a bit more before I went to the third gym, but eventually I was able to go and power my way through it and beat Kahu. It was tough. Probably the first gym that really was difficult to go through, but it did lead to Electrike evolving into Manectric, and that was kind of then the decision: do I stick with Manectric or do I stay with Boltund? And I kind of kept both on the team for some time just to go and figure it out. I wasn't sure what I wanted to go and do, and I figured having an extra Pokemon wouldn't go and hurt at all. Next, then, want to go and show pretty much just what happened. Did a ton of max raids in the game. Because of how the rating system works, you get all these experience candies, which is the easiest way to go and level up. So I kind of want to show how, although I just beat the third gym, which is like level 30 or so, that I'm just trying to go and power up as high as possible before continuing on out of the wild area, and again out of my what I'm calling hyperbolic time chamber, because that's pretty much what it is. I was able to get a Joltik from a max raid battle, so then there's another bug electric type, and again you're kind of seeing these common types that are showing up. Yeah, I have 2 electrics and then 2 bug electrics, but eventually I was able to power my way through, get to Alistar and beat him. It wasn't that difficult, and then obviously Opal followed shortly after because I was able to get through the forest without any sort of issue. Joltik already was pretty close to evolving level-wise, and so pretty much being on the team after fighting Opal led it to evolve into Galvantula, which is something I used previously in my Nuzlocke run, so that is kind of a throwback to that as well. Eventually I remembered that Charjabug can only evolve via a Thunderstone, which I felt silly for forgetting. But Charjabug evolves into Vikavolt, and that became pretty much the other one outside of Boltund as a main one on my team as the Bug Electric. So with all of that, I was able to eventually go up and fight against Melody, which was a bit tricky with the Ice type. And then I decided I needed to really build up my team and expand it after that. And so I went to the Digging Boys because I wanted to get the fossils, because there's 2 fossils that have electric types in it, and one's Electric Dragon and the other is Electric Ice. And yeah, it took a lot of digging to get the fossils needed, which eventually led to Dracozolt, who's an Electric Dragon, and was super helpful to go and have, because I knew going against the final 2 gyms that I would need something pretty powerful, and I from the beginning wanted to get a Morpeko because of the Dark Electric combination, and I thought it would be really nice to go and have, so that's kind of there to round out the team. I took both Manectric and Galvantula out of the team at that point because I already had a solo electric type and a bug electric type, so I kind of wanted to make the team as unique as possible and cover as many types as I could in it, which then led me to going and also getting a Chinchou because I wanted to get the water electric part of it, and again cover all of my bases. Knowing what's coming down the line, I figured having a water type would be nice to have, and then add some variety to it to give it that water electric. So that kind of was rounding out my team there, which Chinchou was super close to evolving when I caught it, so then it evolved into Lantern, which again makes perfect sense. Evolved into Lantern, got another staple on the team, and pretty much my team is rounded out. So I go and fight Piers. It's not that difficult to do. It really comes down to poison types because he has dark. And then I go against Orion, excuse me, I can't even talk. And I got destroyed. So I realized I need an ice type to go against his dragons, and got the other fossil that is electric with Arctozolt. So I got ice types and barely won by the skin of my teeth. Like, Hail knocked out one of his Pokemon, and then the Dig from Vikavolt did the other. Eventually I was able to go and beat Marnie and Hop inside the semifinals of the Champions Cup. Neither was too difficult. Elena wasn't that difficult either. Bede, Nessa, and Alistair weren't too tough. Neither was Ryan on the second time. Went to go and beat the Chairman, which was more difficult with the Steel types, and then eventually led to Leon, which was a pretty tricky battle. Now overall, how did it go? So I had to adjust on the fly as to who I had and who I used. Definitely used both fossils, and kind of realized the importance of leveling up ahead of time and trying to go and cover as many types as possible. But I had a lot of fun with it. Maybe I'll do it again. Who knows?